Yes, guys, welcome back to another video. Welcome to the George Benson Football Channel. We are speaking for the first time in 2024 with England as European finalists. What an absolutely unbelievable win last night against the Netherlands. And it was our boy, the difference maker, Cole Palmer. We've got Cole Palmer, number 24 for England, playing in the final. Cucurella, 24 for Spain, playing in the final, and Enzo Fernandez, 24 for Argentina, playing in the final. And of course, Conor Gallagher is in the squad as well, and will probably come on if England are winning with about 3 minutes to go to just make sure that we don't let Spain in. I think I've got to speak a little bit about England at the start of this video because, to be quite honest, that was one of maybe like top 5 moments in football for me, I think when I think back to my biggest memories, my best memories, Chelsea winning the Champions League is etched on my arm forever in a tattoo. And then we look at England. I was at the semi-final in Russia when Trippier scored that free kick. That specific moment was up there as one of the best feelings at any given time that I've ever had. And seeing Watkins score that goal yesterday, and the fact that it was a Palmer pass, and it's kind of like when our boy does well, and this is the Chelsea angle that I wanted to take to start this video, when Cole does something good and you hear a Man United fan next to you, an Arsenal fan next to you saying the game needs Cole Palmer, just makes you feel good. It makes me excited about the future, and I think that Chelsea is so lucky that we have got that man for 40 million quid less than a year ago. England are in the final. It's against Spain. It's on Sunday. I cannot wait. And the great exciting news is this morning, all of my flights are booked to America. All of the hire cars are booked. We've got some convertibles. We're doing road trips. We're doing news in Big Sur. We're gonna be absolutely making the best content I've ever made during the end of this month on Chelsea's pre-season tour. So, before we get into today's transfer news, make sure you hit the subscribe button so that you don't miss any of that content and any of the future videos we do. We're going to try and build some momentum now in the lead up to this trip as the transfers begin to heat up. And the more I'm seeing from content out of Chelsea about pre-season training, players looking comfortable. I've seen a good interview with Tosin, and he's looking like a really exciting player. He seems to have gelled very well with his teammates and fitting into Chelsea well. So, pre-season is looking like it's going to be a very exciting time. We begin with another Chelsea signing. Exclusive. Renato Vega has completed all medical tests as Chelsea player on Wednesday in London, and contract will be signed shortly. Deal valid until June 2032 after €14 million deal with Basel, as revealed last week. When you're looking at some of the business that Chelsea have done so far, when it comes to first-team players that will absolutely be in the squad for next season, there's a lot of players like your Angelos, your Andre Santos, the Casadets that came in during busy windows when we also had a lot of expensive high-profile signings, and you kind of knew that those players were not going to be around the first team straight away. When you look at the fact that right now, we've not done any crazy business, we're not overspending for players, we're not paying players too much money to go out of this new structure that we've created for wages. And I'm looking at the profile of the Renato Vegas, the Kiernan Dewsbury Halls, and I'm starting to think, as much as they're still, Renato Vega is young, yes, Calafiori was the man that everybody wanted, but if you look closely at his stats and what he's good at, Chelsea might have got themselves another bargain here. 14 million euros, a player that fits the system that Maresca wants to play, can play in that inverted role, can play as a left-back, left-sided defender. This ticks a lot of boxes for Chelsea. When we look across the front line as well, with Esteval on the way, who scored another and got another assist the other day, the man is absolutely ridiculous. You've got your Kendry Pires, players that can play on the right but predominantly want to cut in on their left. Chelsea have got players here that we're bringing into the club that are young, mouldable, with a philosophy-based manager that can play in different positions. So I think with Renato Vega, I wouldn't be surprised if the rumours are true that we still want to get rid of one of Cucurella or Chilwell. I absolutely hope that it is Ben Chilwell. If we're going to sell one of those two players, it's amazing what a year could do. If you'd have asked me on July the 11th or whatever it is today, the 12th, last year, who would you rather sell, Cucurella or Ben Chilwell? I'd have sold Cucurella every day of the week, but the man has become without question the best left-back at the Euros. He'll be in the team of the tournament for sure. But he's just proved to be such a quality player. And I think when he joined Chelsea, there was a massive issue with the team was underperforming. There's been a toxic atmosphere. There's been chopping and changing, manager this, manager that. And it's been difficult for Cucurella. And he got that stability towards the end of last season. And I think the Renato Vega signing, I would not be surprised, with the club already selling Martin and selling Lewis Hall this summer to both Newcastle and do you know what? For the love of God, I can't remember where Ian Martin went now. Aston Villa, that's where he went, for goodness sake. Wouldn't be surprised to see Renato Vega given a really good shot during pre-season, and of course will be there, giving you all the information, match day vlogs, meet-ups with you lot, 6 things. I'm absolutely buzzing for this trip. And England are in a final. What an unbelievable Thursday this is. Renato Vega is a Chelsea player, and a bit like Dewsbury Hall, I'm quietly excited about this one. I'm not expecting him to be the best defender in the league next season. Don't think that's going to happen. I think it might take him a bit of time. But when we're making the signings with players that fit the way that our new manager wants to play, it absolutely does get me excited for the future. And as much as a lot of the signings are to get the best out of them in 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, and it might not make us challengers yet, I still think it is a very smart Chelsea signing. Some news here, quoted from Fabrizio Romano. This is Simon Phillips' tweet. Chelsea believe they are well covered for left-footers and are not working on this deal, talking about Dani Olmo as it stands today. Chelsea want a right-footed winger and then a striker. Dani Olmo has a €60 million release clause, and he's probably, in my opinion, been the best player so far this tournament at the Euros. Top scorer, most goal involvements. He's looked absolutely fantastic. Now, I don't know what it is about maybe Chelsea aren't interested in this guy. Maybe it's the injury record, but I think we should absolutely potentially be looking at Dani Olmo this summer. We move. I think that Dro Fana will leave Chelsea. Many clubs are interested. Look, again, this is from Simon Phillips, quoting Fabrizio Romano. My position on Dro Fana is this. During this pre-season, we're going to obviously be looking at Christopher Nkunku in the number 9. Nicholas Jackson through the middle. Every match that we play, we're likely going to see one team in the first half, one team in the second half. So there are 10 different variations that Enzo Maresca can trial to see how strikers do. Nkunku, Jackson, Mark Yu and Dro Fana. Make it a shootout between Mark Yu and Dro Fana. Whoever impresses, whoever fits the system the most, give them a shot in the squad. That's what I think we should be doing here. Dro Fana, I think, is actually a decent striker. He's still very raw. He's a bit of an enigma. I'm not quite sure what you're going to get with him. But I absolutely think here, during this pre-season, there is going to be a lot of clubs that will look at Dro Fana, and it doesn't matter if it's right now, at this phase of the window, or later in the window, when pre-season is underway. We might get a look of him and be like, bloody hell. Remember when Bakayoko passed the ball to Frank Lampard in a pre-season friendly in Ireland? Dro Fana might be that bad. Do you know what I mean? But I wouldn't sleep on Dro Fana. I think there's still a decent player in there somewhere. We move to discuss another striker that Chelsea are still interested in. Chelsea still appreciate Samu Amador and think he's one of the best strikers on the market. It's on Atletico Madrid. If they open the door, Chelsea are there, but they are exploring other options. The interesting thing with this one is when clubs say, when Fabrizio Romano is talking about on the market here, these are basically the strikers that might leave if the price is right. With Amador, we're looking at such a ridiculous price, and Atletico Madrid are like, you know what? We don't want to get rid of this guy, and if Chelsea come knocking on the door, and we can see throughout recent years how much money they pay for these players, we'll absolutely be overpaying. When you look at the 32 million that we spent on Nicholas Jackson last summer, I remember saying to you lot at the start of the season, this could just be a massive flop. 32 million is a bargain, even for the returns that he got last season alone, let alone the potential, let alone the way he can grow. So bringing it back to what we said before about Mark Yu, Dro Fana, I do not want to see Chelsea going out there in this transfer window and overpaying for a striker simply because we're Chelsea, especially for a striker that hasn't necessarily proved anything, and will probably provide the same issues and restraints that we had with Nicholas Jackson. Nicholas Jackson got a load of goals, got a load of assists, worked incredibly hard for the team and is a likeable character, but he's still raw, so much so that he misses so many big chances. And if Jackson would have been a better finisher last season, we could have actually got in the Champions League. And I don't want to see Chelsea doing this again, where we inflate the squad with too many players in those positions. We have the Mark Hughes, who could potentially be quality at 6 million, but because we're overfilling the positions and we've got expensive assets that we've overpaid for, we kind of just have to keep playing them and hoping for the best from them, and it gives the academy players less chances. It gives the likes of the Mark Hughes and the Dro Fanas zero chance. So, with Samu Amador, I've seen a few videos of him. I think he looks pretty decent, but again, to me, it just seems like a massive Chelsea gamble. And I'd rather, if we're going to gamble, we're doing it for the 6 million signings, for the Renato Vega 14 million euro signings. This is where, for me, you can afford to have these little gambles. Anyway, we move into the next piece of news here, and we are talking about Cresencio Somerville. Chelsea and Liverpool also tracking the Leeds winger, 35 million to 40 million pound fee likely. Look, going to throw it out there straight away. Somerville is a decent player. He's very exciting. I think he could mould into a really decent Premier League exciting winger. My issue, though, is that Tyreek George is at Chelsea. And I absolutely believe that there is a space for Tyreek George, particularly during this pre-season. We can see what we can get out of him, whether it's on the left or the right, or through the middle in like an attacking number 10 role. We absolutely should not be going out there and buying players that have just potential, like we've invested in Mudryk. Mudryk is still a conversation where we're like, well, he could explode, and he could be this, but is he that? No. Could he be that? Maybe. We don't really know. And if we're going to keep on making these 35, 40 million, which is expensive, and there's still an onus to get these guys in the team playing and improving, if that is going to be at the detriment to allowing someone that we don't have to spend a penny on grow at Chelsea, have an opportunity, be someone that can change a game off the bench because they're ready and willing to prove a point. Keanu Dyer is another youngster that's been training with Maresca in the first team so far during this pre-season. This is what I think we should absolutely be looking at. And the final story, which is a player that I'm delighted here, that Karim Adeyemi is understood to be unreceptive to a move to Chelsea. Brilliant news. But Dortmund are open to selling him for around £35 million. As much as I want to forget this goal, he did score against us in the Champions League, and it was an unbelievable goal. Pretty much ran the length of the pitch, took it round the goalie, I think, and slotted it in the bottom corner. In Borussia Dortmund, which is obviously now going to go down as a famous stadium for England for even more reasons. But Adeyemi is a speed merchant. I don't want this guy anywhere near Chelsea for the same reasons that I'm saying tread with caution when you're looking at players like Somerville. Are they really going to be better than some of these players that we've got coming through? Should we be gambling on 35, 40 plus million pound players this summer? That is what I want you guys to let me know in the comments down below. There's quality that makes us better now, and then what? Like investing for the future and potential sell-on values, but you're already overpaying for players. This is where we've got to be careful. This is where I want to see Chelsea be smart, and I'm happy with the Dewsbury Hall signing, the Mark Hughes signing, and I'm happy with the signing of Renato Vega. I think this could be a really exciting one. Let me know your thoughts on him in the comments down below. Of course, give me your feelings last night about England. I was in a little pub. I wasn't really doing the big one for this. I was hoping that we'd get to the final so that, I don't know, if I can get hold of a ticket somehow, I'll probably do it, but it's going to cost me an arm and a leg, because I don't think I'm going to be able to get a free one. And as well as that, I'm going to go back home with the family this weekend to watch the game with my old man, watch it with my best mates that I grew up with. And last night I was just in a little quaint English pub, watching with a few old boys. My girlfriend was there too. It was lovely. Absolutely lovely. And I think it's finally coming home. I really do. I actually believe it this time. Spain is going to be tough. But what a footballing night that was. Had to tag it on the start and end of this video. Subscribe to GBFC if you are new and you don't miss any of the content in the build-up to Chelsea's pre-season tour And of course, come on the tour with the videos with me. We're going to be doing daily vlogs, 6 things we learnt, match previews, match reviews, everything. It's literally going to be content central, and we're going to be on the ground doing road trips, flying here, flying there, flying bloody everywhere for the flipping Chelsea. I'm buzzing. If you enjoyed this video, you know what to do. Come on, you Blues.